Welcome back. In the previous video, we have added the snack bar functionality to our application and we were successfully able to display the message to the user. Now our last task is we need to implement the pagination. So to implement the pagination, we need at least 20 to 30 record. In this step, I have created some mock data. We can copy from here, since if we will create from the UI it will take lot of time, and so for the displaying purpose created simple data with ID 123. So let's insert manually. Let's refresh the UI. Yes, it is displaying. So now we can see our data is displayed up to the 20 record, but we have inserted 25 record through this script. So the reason is, like, when we are calling get call, it is returning the page object, it is the pagination data, so it is providing the data as size of the page is 20, so that we are displaying 20 record here by default. Let's understand the page object from the API. So this page object containing the four property: size, total elements, total pages, and number. So size is we are providing in the query param. If we are not providing in the query param size, so by default it will return the 20 value to us. And after that we have total element. This total element is the current count of the record in the database. So we have 25 record in the database. Total pages will get calculated based on the provided value for the size. Let's say if you will say I want 5 records to be displayed in the UI, so based on that it will calculate the page. It will means Spring Data will rest calculate the page and return the calculated value to us. If you will say here size, you want to display the page size is 10, so we want to display the 10 record per page. So how much value we will get here? We will get 3, because 10 record will be displayed in the first page, remaining 10 will be displayed in the second page, and 5 record will be displayed in the third page. So when you will call the first page, you have to pass page equal to 1, page equal to 0, because it is in page is indexed 0 based. So when you will query for page 0, it will return the page 1. Let's start the implementation. So the first step is we need to create the function inside service to call the API. So this is the function name, get to dos with pagination. It's user defined, we can give any other name also. So it takes two parameter, page number and size, because our query params, if you will see after question mark we have page and size to query param. So this query param we will get from the component page and size and will bind it as a dynamic value to this API. Previously we were calling only Todo API, and this Todo API having /API /todos. Now we have added extra information with question mark. We are providing page and size as a query param, and we are calling the API. But previously, if you will see, we were mapping this response to the to-dos and we were returning the to-do. Now we want to use the page information in the component, so we are returning the get to-do response type, and this get to-do information type we have added here page information also, and we created the page interface, so that when we use this information in the component we should not have any type error. So let's start the implementation. So currently if you will see, like, we have created the service function get to do with pagination. So previously we were calling this get to do's function whenever our application is loaded and whenever any record is deleted, updated, and patched, created. So whenever we did any CRUD operation, we were calling to get the new records, and on the page load also we were calling. Now we need to replace this all function with the pagination. So let's start the step 2 implementation. So in the step 2 we need to create the another function get to do with pagination. It will have the parameter page 0. Page 0 default value is 0. It means whenever our application will get loaded first time, we want to display the first page, and whenever we will click on this number 1 2 3, we will call this API with the dynamic value. So you can see here we are sending, calling the service, sending page and size value. Size is the instance variable, and in returns we are getting the response. And then previously we were directly mapping this response to mapping because we were returning the only to do's. We can see in our HTTP call, we can see we are returning only the to do's, so that we are directly, as we were directly assigning. Now we have to go to embedded and then to do's, then we will get the to do. So let's start the implementation. So now you can see when we refresh the application, it is displaying only the 5 record because we are calling the API with page 0, means page 1, size is 5. We want to see the 5 record per page. So now to proceed further, we need to generate these 5 pages in the UI with this value. To generate the pages, we need to construct the array with 1 2 3 4 5, right? Because we want to display the 5 record. So how we will implement the steps 3 is, here we have this generate, we will create this interface or type generated page. It will have display value and value. So display value means in the UI we will display 1 2 3 4 5, but they will have the value -1. So let's say one page 1 value will be 0 and page 2 value will be 1. So similar concept function we have created here, generate all page, and we have to just pass the total pages value, and here we will iterate from index 0, and then we will construct the same logic whatever we discuss here, +1, display value having the +1 and the value is having the index based value. And then finally we are calling this function from the get to do with pagination function. So we are getting this total pages inside this page object. So now we have generated the pages, and here the display value is greater than 1 from the value. So let's start iterating this in UI. So let's see in the UI whether the pages are displaying or not after this for loop. So yeah, now we can see the pages are displaying 1 2 3, and when we click on the number 1, it should call the -1 value for the page. So we can see page is going with 0. If we click on the second, it should call with the page 1. So now our pagination is working fine. Only the few things are remaining. The one is when we click on the particular number, we want to make that as active number, active page number. So let's start that implementation. So for that we need to update this page value. So currently I think we are not using this page anywhere. Okay, so this is the parameter. Yeah, we are not using instance variable. So let's change the name page num, and this page number we need to update in the pagination section. So this dot page num equal to data dot page dot number, because it holds the current page number value. Now this page number we have to provide here as a class dot active, and when this page number equal to our temp value, so sorry, with this value, because this is the +1 value and we have to compare this page number with the actual value. So let's see if it is working in the UI. Yeah, page 1 is active. When we click on the third, page third is active, and when we click on the fifth is active. Now let's work on the previous and next button. So before starting the previous and next button functionality, if you will see in the last step, we created the instance variable, and this instance variable page number we are assigning inside the get to do pagination service response, and always assigning the number. So this page number holding the last get call response means current active page number we will have in this page number. So this will help us to implement the previous and next button functionality. So for the previous button functionality we need to implement two things. When we click we will call the get to do with pagination function, and here this page number holding the current page number value. So we will say -1 and call the API, right? This function will call the API after -1 value, after doing the -1 value, and it will disable and we will disable this button whenever we are on the first page. 0 means whenever we are on the first page. And for the next button we will say call the pagination function with +1 value. Here we are making +1 value for the page number, and we are disabling the next button whenever we are on the last page, means page is indexed page value. So that's why we are minusing 1 from the length of the to dos. So let's quickly implement this. With this our previous and next button functionality is implemented, but there is minor difference. In the slide we have here to dos, but since we are using the variable name for the generated pages, so we need to take that variable to check the length of this pagination array, right? Now let's see in the UI whether it is working or not. Let's refresh. Yeah, we can see whenever we are on the page 1, previous button is disabled, and whenever we are on the fifth button, next button is disabled, and when we are on the second page, both are enabled. When we click on the previous, again previous disabled now, and when we are on the third page, click on the next button is working fine. So now our pagination is working fine from the pagination section, but still we are calling the get to do without pagination when we are doing any operation like CURD operation. So let's say if you are updating this status saying that this is completed, we can see we are still displaying the 20 record because we are calling the API without pagination query params. So to fix this, we need to replace the function at all the place. We don't want this get to do function now, so let's replace with get to do with pagination. And we are already holding the current page value in page number variable. So let's say if you are on the fourth page, so whenever you will update any status or any record, that time you want to be on the fourth page, so that we had to call with the current page this pagination. Let's replace at all over the place. Create to do also needed, and let's delete this from the service to. And if you will now make this task completed, we can see now we are displaying only the 5 record. And if you will update from fourth page, you will be on the fourth page and it will get updated also. So now with this our pagination is task is completed. Now we have to do some improvement and bug fixes. So the first bug fixes is when we update the task. Let's say if you are update the user story to capital S and update, we are still displaying this as update. So the reason is we are not making resetting the variable false. So go to the update method, is edit mode should be false when we update the thing. So now if you will re-update user story to capital update, we can see immediately it is got changed to the created, and it is also got updated to capital S. So now the another improvement is we want to display this form fields like full width, and this button we want to shift little bit to the like some padding, some margin we want to give from the left. So to do that, we already have this class field, a custom field. Let's define the CSS for this. And once we refresh, it should be full width. And this create button we want to shift a little bit right. So here create the class, say margin equal to 2. So it will take margin from all the area. So now it is shifted little bit right. And after that we want to display this pagination section with some in the center with some paddings from all the side. And we are creating this class with display flags, and we will assign this box to the center, say justify content center. Let's refresh. Yeah, it is now in the center, and some padding there from all the sides. And if you will see here this table this checkbox in the center, but this text are at the top. So here we need to say align middle, so that everything will be in the middle. Now it is displaying in the middle. So when we click on the delete button, it is currently deleting without asking any confirmation from the user. So now let's implement the confirmation on delete. So go to the delete function, and paste this. Once user will select yes, then only this code will execute. Now delete code. So let's try to delete the last record, fifth record. So it is saying, are you sure you want to delete this record? If we say cancel, nothing will happen, and if we say okay, we can see the 5 record is deleted. With this, our full stack development for the Todo application is completed. And as a last step, I have updated the Git repository link. So here we have front end and back end code. We'll meet you in the next full stack application.